do an intro?
Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things,
the podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
I'm Sarah.
And we are three anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
The Coven is back together. Halloween edition. You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. All right. Halloween edition.
It's a good one.
Because it's almost Halloween and we're not meeting next week.
Halloween's in 2 days.
Yeah.
The veil is thinning.
Yeah, that's
already.
true. Yeah, I'll be in
That's
Seattle
why
on
that happened.
Halloween.
Yes,
Oh.
that's why. Oh, be our patron if you
Patron.
want to know what happened. It's only $1.
Creepy things happened. Creepy things. Okay.
Really
Alright.
creepy.
What do you do? Oh, petting.
We need to offer sacrifices, maybe.
Well, that would be a very Wednesday Adam thing to do.
All right, what do you got for us, Macy?
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out where my stuff is. Okay, all right. I am going to talk about origin of ghost stories.
Great.
And-
That's on point.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about ghost stories, and then I'm gonna talk a bit about kind of where they came from, and I think I want to start with, did you ever tell ghost stories? Like, was that a thing you did? I don't think I ever was like involved in the telling of ghost stories.
No, I was involved in the listening to a ghost story, though, many a time.
I've told ghost stories.
Have you? To who?
Whoever wants to hear one.
Like all the time?
Yeah, how come we haven't
Every
just
day.
busted out with
It's
a ghost
just very
story for
specific.
us?
I've like done ghost stories around campfire type things, but more
Okay,
of like
okay.
a real, not like made up. Are we talking about made up stories
Yeah.
or real like
No.
ghost encounters?
No, like fictional ghost stories.
Oh, okay. No, I've told like real encounter or supposed encounters.
Well, and maybe that counts, but like
Mhm.
versus like talking about a murder case, like
Mhm.
that's scary.
Mhm.
But this is
My cousin, we would go camping with family, and my cousin would tell ghost stories, made up ghost stories that were really good. And then like, what is it, Goosebumps? And
I loved Goosebumps.
Mhm.
That was one of my favorites. I read all the books and then some of the shows for a
Mhm.
bit. Did you
Yeah.
ever?
Oh yeah, I'm still
R.L.
freaked out
Stein.
by the cuckoo clock from hell.
That's a good
That
one.
one still scares me.
That is a good
No, I've
one.
never heard of that one.
Oh,
Really?
read it. It's scary.
I did hear a Goosebumps story. I read one that scared me so bad that I stopped reading them. Pretty
Really?
much like completely stopped reading them.
That's
I was
why I like-
so freaked out.
Yeah, they
Tales of
like
Tales of the
patronize
Crypt.
kids.
Yeah.
I used to watch that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen King.
Yes. So ghost stories are they've been told for like really forever
Forever.
throughout our history.
Forever.
So there's a ton of tales involving historical figures ranging from queens, politicians, to writers, to gangsters who die early, mysterious deaths. There's lots of mystery and often lessons behind ghost stories, which I thought was pretty interesting, because then like when you listen to them, you're like, oh yeah, there is kind of this thread of it could have been me.
Like a warning.
Yeah, like there's an easy mistake you could make and could easily
I was just
be in that
talking about that
position.
with Nick about Friday the 13th has a moral to. I go, do you know the moral of the Friday the 13th movies? I know this is like not
You're
stories,
fine.
but
Okay.
What's the moral?
it like the
Never
guy
leave the house.
Jason would come in and kill like teenagers having sex. So I'm pretty sure it was like saying
Don't.
don't
have
have
sex.
sex, don't do it, or you're gonna get murdered.
Abstinence is the way.
Or yeah, sex is the highway to death. Maybe it's about venereal diseases.
Well, I have not been murdered yet.
Oh,
Good.
Cheers.
Nice.
that's good.
I mean, we've hit on that
Not
every
good word,
episode
sure.
somehow. So okay, so let's
Sure.
talk about like when we say
Everybody.
ghost stories, we have to say like what is a ghost? These are also known as specters. It's based on the ancient idea that a person's spirit exists separate from their body and may continue to exist after that person dies. Because of this idea, many societies began to use funeral rituals as a way of ensuring that the dead person's spirit would not return to haunt the living. We've done a few of those episodes where we've talked about some rituals. Did you know that the mobster Al Capone was reported to appear to disrespectful visitors at his funeral plot in Illinois? So spectral banjo music would be heard coming from inside Capone's old cell at Alcatraz, where he's one of the first inmates.
Have you been to Alcatraz?
I've been not in it, but I've seen it
I
across.
did the tour.
Same.
Cool.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Totally worth it.
Did you bring ghosts back to your closet?
I possibly did.
Probably.
That's the problem.
Mhm.
Yes. So places that are haunted are usually believed to be associated with an occurrence or an emotion in the ghost past. Remember when you talked about like the feelings that get left after like fights or anger and like that stress and tension?
Smell.
The smell, that's right, the smell. The smell might be ghosts.
Like a recording.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think ghosts are a lot of things, but I definitely believe in them.
Mhm.
So you may see ghosts. Traditional signs of haunting range from strange noises, lights, odors, breezes to displacement of objects, bells that ring, or musical instruments that will play on their own. Pay attention to those things. So the great Roman author and statesman Pliny the Younger recorded one of the most notable ghost stories in his letters, which became famous for a vivid account of life during the middle of the Roman Empire. So he reported that the specter of an old man with a long beard rattling chains was haunting his house in Athens.
Classic.
The Greek writer Lucian and Pliny's fellow Roman Plautus also wrote memorable ghost stories. So then centuries later in AD 856, the first poltergeist was recorded. And so I say recorded because assuming that this stuff is happening all the time. So a ghost that causes physical disturbances such as loud noises, falling objects, things being thrown around, was reported at a farmhouse in Germany, where the family was reported to have been tormented with stones being thrown at them, fires starting, just kind of on their own, and other reported odd things. So 3 famous historical ghosts. One of the most frequently reported ghost sightings in England dates back to the 16th century. Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry and mother of Queen Elizabeth, was executed at the Tower of London in 1536 after being accused of witchcraft, treason, incest, and adultery.
Timely, though.
Timely, right?
Time of year.
Sightings of Boleyn's ghost have been reported at the tower as well as in various other locations, including her childhood home, Hever Castle in Kent. So, America has ghost stories as well. So one of the most famous being, with its most famous founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin.
Ew.
Beginning,
Ghost.
his ghost was seen near the library of the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia. Some reports held that the statue of Franklin in front of the society comes to life and dances in the street.
Weird.
Kind of a weird thing
I
to
do
report.
not want to see old Ben dancing in the
Dancing.
street.
It's weird, right?
He's not one of my
Favorites? No.
favorites.
So there's actually been a ton of ghost sightings around the White House over the years. So Abraham Lincoln is probably one of the most reported ghosts to be seen around that area.
I wonder if it's because people just like want to see, you're just wanting to.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
famous person.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like they see something maybe and they're like, it's a.
It's a yeah.
It's Abe, it must be Abe.
And it just could be it's just someone else with a big chin and beard.
I mean, it's a common style, right? I don't know.
I think it was popular at that time.
To have a big
So
chin.
Yeah.
So these undead protagonists show up all throughout history across every land, and started originally with kind of the wealthier classes would tell ghost stories, but every like working class member eventually starts telling ghost stories throughout history. And ancient and medieval Europe, ghost stories do not meet the expectations of what we kind of have now. They don't do shock tactics. They don't frighten the reader. The ghosts themselves are typically not malformed or even maybe malevolent, like out to get you. The tales are rewarding resources for students at the time. So they actually were used in schools to teach moral lessons along the way, like you were talking about.
Like fairy tales, it's
Right.
like a cautionary tale.
Yes. So and there weren't as many during the when the plague and all of that was going on. There weren't as many ghost stories being told. There were just literacy was way down, and but that was when Dante's Inferno did come out as one of the big writing poetry pieces at the time. So there was still some stuff during that time frame. So over centuries, the stories changed to start accommodating new belief systems, and the success of Christianity in the 4th century triggered a ton of concern of the fate of Christian souls after death and the urgency of their petitions from beyond the grave. So teaching of the early church was clear that the soul has that lays in repose as though asleep until resurrection of the dead and their judgment by God at the end of time. So that's what is said, but it's depicted. It depicts an afterlife immediately after death, but preceding final judgment. So this is where that kind of there's an in-between that can happen, which then kind of brings in that what happens in between death and that.
Well, a lot of depictions of ghosts are that they are caught in that in-between, and then
right,
something is resolved and they're able to pass over, and then there's peace,
Once their story gets brought to
or
light.
they avenge something, or
So in there's some writings, one of them, so this was CA 400 and the Vision of Paul. He depicted afterlife after death, but preceding the final judgment, where human souls persisted in recognizable bodies that were vulnerable to physical punishment that commiserate with their sins. In the book Moment of Reckoning, Ellen Mulchberger has dubbed this alarming new phase of human existence the post-mortal. It is more, it comes from this place between heaven and hell, where there's shades of what they call Christian dread that return back to the world. So if there's different, like you said, there could be reasons why they get sent back. So it just
or they're stuck.
Right. So that's kind of where that in between, where I think that purgatory concept kind of came from later.
Like in Beetlejuice, the waiting room.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
That place freaked me out. And then the number thing that a little shrunken head guy was hanging out waiting.
It was almost his turn.
Oh, he
stole his number, yeah.
I love Beetlejuice.
Me too.
So this really just kind of kept going throughout historical writings, where there is this in between, and people over time really did focus on that within their narratives and writing. In the later Middle Ages, new experiences with the undead challenged the expectations. So the 12th century, for example, authors struggled to explain reports of animated corpses terrorizing villagers in northern England.
That's hard to explain.
Right. These were not the spirits that they talked about prior, it didn't fit. Rather than they were
It's like zombies.
bloated, bloodied bodies of notorious men who rose from their graves at night to torment their neighbors with violence. One was an infamous churchman known as Hound Priest, owing to his inordinate love of hunting, who terrified his wife by lurking in her bedroom before crushing her nearly to death with the immense weight of his dead body.
Ew. Why is he
Gross.
laying on her?
To try to kill her. Unable to find
My men went a different
precedent
direction, of
for
course.
this phenomenon. Ew. Yeah, probably.
Incubus.
You might be right. The chronicler William Newsburg was at a loss to explain how the dead were rising. His stories of rampaging revenants, it was just hard to switch gears. And then it wasn't until really the 21st century that the zombie, survival guide and things like that came up that made more sense for people for how that would go about. But
I'm ready,
you're ready.
fairly ready.
Good, good.
Ready as you can be.
So
Got some top ramen.
he kind of
Playing
switches
like,
narrative.
video games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He switched his narrative basically to how a band of monks armed with axes and shovels waited in a graveyard by night for the dead man to rise. And then after a pitched battle, brought him back to his tomb. Once the monks had excavated his monstrous corpse, they destroyed it with fire, but only after they had completed the grisly work of extracting his cursed heart. So to get more creative with like, how do you get rid of something that's already dead? That is come back.
Yeah, I mean, classic is like that silver bullet or stake through the heart or something
Right,
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic. Those are the go-tos
Garlic,
anyway.
yes.
Things you should have on hand.
Obviously, yeah. So there was one part I found that was pretty interesting. So in Japan, we've talked about Japanese history maybe not a ton, but a bit
We
on
have.
our podcast. So psychological horror in Japan honestly just is really good. So in the Edwarian era, I don't even know when that is in full
I
honesty.
think that isn't that tied to like more of a like Western European era?
Right. Well, they're trying to like ground it so you know when this is.
Yeah, but we still don't know when it is, so it's not helping us ground.
No, not at all.
Can they just tell us what year it was?
Yeah, no, they didn't. So no.
It's like when they're like the Cretaceous period.
And I'm
I'm
like-
like, okay, give me a little more. What are we working
Don't
with there?
crustaceans. Still like, okay, all right. So they do a lot of the directions of ghost stories went to more of like a psychological horror route in Japan, and that's kind of where that angle came from. There's a word called and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, I'm sorry, Kaden, which literally means supernatural tale or weird tale, is a form of a Japanese ghost story. So there was a game that started during this period called, I'm not going to try to say that, but there's a game where there's 100.
Is that the name of the game? I'm not going to try to say that.
Yep.
Because that'd be a good game.
So this
Like, what are we
game,
trying not to say?
they pronounce it out in Japanese, so I can't do
Oh,
that
so we would
either.
win because we wouldn't try to say it.
It means in English translated a gathering of 100 supernatural tales. So this was a popular game that was actually like a Buddhist inspired parlor game during the Edo period in Japan.
Again,
Right.
What are we
don't
working
know.
with
Here
here?
it is.
So the game was played as night fell, and they used 3 separate rooms. In preparation, participants would light 100 basically like candles in the 3rd room and position a single mirror on the surface of a small table. When the sky was at its darkest, guests gathered in the first of the 3 rooms, taking turns telling tales of the ghoulish encounters and reciting folklore tales passed on by villagers who claim to have natural or not natural, supernatural encounters. Like you had mentioned, that's why when you were like, oh, but if you share about your own experience, that was more in line with this. And they would then enter the 3rd room and extinguish the candle. They'd look in the mirror and then make their way back to the 1st room. With each passing tale, the room slowly grew darker and darker and darker as it got darker out. As the participants reached the 100th tale, this created a safe haven to get rid of spirits. So you had to safely get through 100 tales without bringing a summoning. But many would stop because they were scared that their story would summon all the ghosts in the stories or the supernatural that they had summoned up to that point.
What was looking in the mirror? The point of that.
That's okay. So
Getting to it.
just a little bit, yeah. So it was really popular with like the warrior class at first, but it's really did spread. But one of the tales was that a warrior would when you hit the 100th tail, that a big clawed hand would like come through, and one of the ghosts or supernatural would come through and like rip him away.
Take him away to the
Mhm.
spirit world.
The
Or
person
like
telling
rip
the
his head off.
tale.
Mhm.
So you don't want to be the 100th person to tell the story.
I mean, It's so the
How do they choose?
Is it gonna be
first?
me or?
well, I think the idea is that
game.
it could happen at any point, but what they're looking at is a story about one of the warriors who was taken was the 100th tail, which is why I went to the 100.
Oh,
So if you get through the 100, you're safe, but it can
Right.
happen anytime in between.
Right. Well, I could happen on the 100 too, but you have to finish that. If you finish the 100 and it didn't happen, then you're safe.
I want to play. Let's do it.
I don't know 100
That's
tails. I really don't.
Anything with tails, candles, and mirrors, I'm in.
Yeah,
It took a really long time.
it was
It
considered
already,
a
like,
test of
late.
courage. Like it really,
Like this is all one night.
yeah. So it was a samurai like class that they like did.
They
a
probably had a
test
time
for.
limit. Like okay, you have 4 minutes.
Well, I mean,
It's gotta be.
night. They have to
like,
wait till it gets dark.
day breaks already happened.
Yeah.
So
They had an MC though. It's like controlling the pace of things.
They're like, brr, 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 like, let out.
They start playing that music like at the Oscars. Like you're done.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
So they said that basically the bravery part is that if you got through and that hand came through and they were trying to take you away, if you actually were brave and like swiped your sword and fought, it would just whoosh away, and you'd see it was like they describe it as the shadow of a spider's. It's just a shadow of a
Fucking
spider.
perfect. You see this on my neck? This is a spider bite.
Ooh.
I got it in the night. It was on me in my bed in the night on my neck.
Can you see the
Got
two,
you.
like the two
Yeah.
dots?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ugh.
that's how you know.
So yeah, so but the men who cower in fear.
That's gonna be our new symbol.
Done.
Just done.
Done. So and then that I sat and looked up ghost stories that were famous in Japan, and there's some like really good ones. They're really long, so I'm not gonna read them to you, but and the translations honestly seem like they're not great, but it's much more focused on that same kind of lesson kind of built in, like anyone can
Mhm.
make that mistake. So I'll give a quick summary of one where a man he's in a snowstorm, his I believe his wife dies in the snowstorm, and he ends up seeing this like basically a horrible, very like white witch of sorts in Japanese culture, and then she says that because of his charms and good looks, she's decided not to kill him, as long as he never speaks of this day ever. Even if he told it to his mom, she would know and she would kill him. And a year goes by, and he ends up meeting this beautiful young woman on the side of the road. They talk and meet and get married and end up having 2 kids together. And I think she's either cooking or like washing dishes or something, and he just starts telling that tale to her. And
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
And he goes, or she turns to him slowly and gets really big over the top of him, and she says, "It is I," and she says her name.
It's always the best.
And she's like shrieking at him, and but she says, "If it weren't for the 2 children in the bed, I would murder you now." And then she ends up like just disappearing in a mist, and that was it and gone. So he didn't even die, but it was because of the children that she had.
So there's a couple lessons here.
Right.
Well, and now these children are like half
And the mom's
witch.
gone.
Or no. So wait, did the witch like take on the wife's body and like
No, it was her.
that
Yeah.
was always her?
Well, I don't know if visually, like, if that was like true form or which one.
Are they half demon babies? That's what Sarah wants to know.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, definitely half demon baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, definitely some different lessons.
You're gonna put your foot down.
Because she could have, I think, in like American culture, if that was like a movie that played out, he definitely would have died, or like he would have been
There
murdered.
had to be more drama. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right, or something with the kids would have happened, but they would have been kidnapped or
I mean, the
something.
lesson is keep your secrets.
Right.
You know, you promise,
Exactly.
you
And there's
gotta stick
something-
with it.
And there's
Yeah.
something ominous about that. Like just the fact that like you got caught
Yeah,
and that alone is enough of a punishment.
you're always gonna get
Yeah.
caught
It always comes out.
Right.
because it's a demon that you're dealing with all these days.
Right. Every single
think-
day.
It's your wife.
Why is he turned up
You
right now?
trusted. I didn't.
Okay. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, I'll own that because I want
we can rewind this.
I want to fix you. I will tell the truth.
Let's just making me a little uncomfortable.
So that's my topic. Ghost stories, and they have evolved and changed over time. I wish it was more of a thing, and it does have to do a lot with how cultures share history and share values and share in general. And I think that isn't as strong. And then tying in literacy again, like is reading and writing, because that's the way that you pass on.
Yeah, I was wondering, did the crustacean era or period like correlate to like just storytelling in general?
Did I say that earlier?
Yeah. I mean, where people just.
I meant,
No, it's
I meant crustaceous, but I like crustacean.
I mean, it's all the way back to like, I mean, Aristotle. So it's, it's been around.
I think
but-
storytelling is a gift.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that a lot of just speaking together in
Mm-hmm.
person has died away,
Mhm.
and that's sad. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have a fire in my backyard later.
Well, and maybe
Like you gotta keep it alive.
well, it made me think just now of like written form online though, because things like oh gosh, now my brain just blanked. Creepypasta.
Yeah.
Creepypasta is full of stories and full of
Yeah.
ghost story type things that are built on
Never actually
There's something
looked into
about sitting around a fire though, that there's extra power.
things, the murder
Telling
is
the
behind you.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. Didn't mean to
that. You're like.
block your. Sorry. Oh, I'm blocking Demon Betty too. Sorry. Sorry.
But like you call him buddy. You're like.
I'm trying to. Like we're on the same team, obviously.
Oh my God.
I'm not trying to cross you.
Good topic. I like those stories.
I love them too. I told my kids, if there's any way possible, I'm coming back and haunting your asses. Just to know. And they're ready. They're like, we'll be looking for the
I
signs.
know you're gonna fucking show up
And like,
somewhere.
you load that dishwasher wrong, that's gonna be me. Tapping at your shoulder.
Just like.
You don't need two spaces in between every plate.
I'm glad
One
she's gonna be
space
so
is
busy
fine.
doing that, because my mind went straight to she's gonna be like, you better still be doing the podcast.
Oh yeah, obs. Okay,
I'll be like, I'm taking time off.
I'm gonna talk about chain letters.
Relevant
Not to
Connected?
be
Like- letters,
The spoken and the written word.
not to be mistaken with chain mail, which is totally different. That's more of an outfit.
Oh.
So a chain letter. Have you gotten one ever?
Yeah.
Chain letter?
Where they're like, you need
Talked
to
about it.
send this out to 10 more people. Or
Yeah, what did you say?
die
Like,
a horrible
what
death.
what was the
so
concept?
like ghost stories. I'm just saying, like it really is the spreading of
Connected.
things that grow over time.
I mean, I've received
Also
multiple, I
diseases.
can't even think of what the.
You've received multiple. Did you ever do it?
I've had them.
No.
You never did it.
Oh, maybe I have
I've
done
never
it once, but not I was probably like, ooh, I better do this so I don't die.
I think it
But then,
like the tricky ones are the ones that's like that like make you feel like you're gonna like you if you like they have some piece of knowledge like if you I know I'm trying to think of an exact example
Well,
that's
like,
not more like
That's more like blackmail, Macy. What you're talking
blackmail,
about.
not change them. No, or it'll say if you want to receive $1 million or something like that, then forward this out to like however many.
Yeah.
people. And then it's like 15 people, and then I get to 10, and I'm like,
Or
okay,
like-
forget it. I don't need that money.
so and so's dead corpse will rise in the grave and Eat you.
Yeah. we
Right.
don't do
I
this
made that
thing.
up. I didn't get that. Just saying.
But that's an example.
It is.
Have you actually done like forwarded out?
I may have. I mean, I can't specifically
Right.
remember, but I feel like maybe I did it once. Like I feel like I probably took the threat to heart and was like, oh, I better just forward this.
Yeah.
So a
Gonna
chain
just
letter,
do
like
it.
just be safe. Like who's gonna hurt if I just forward?
Your computer with viruses,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
A chain letter is a message that attempts to convince the recipient to make a number of copies and pass them on to a certain number of recipients. So the whole chain, quote unquote, is an exponentially growing pyramid that actually cannot be sustained indefinitely, and it actually cannot be sustained for very long at all, I learned. So there will be a little math in this topic.
I don't do that.
You're welcome.
Mm-mm.
So common methods used in chains are emotionally manipulative, like they make you like pull at your heartstrings, maybe it's a sob story, or it could be get rich stuff, like do this and you're gonna have all this money coming back to you, or it could be a threat, or it could be superstition, like about luck, like bad luck will fall upon you or good luck will be coming to you. So originally, back in the day, these were actual letters. So
What
chain
time period
letters
was
were
the day?
real letters.
Just the
What time?
The day was
crustacean period.
pre-internet, between the crustacean period
And the dinosaur era.
the dinosaur area. Yes.
area. Yeah.
So today it's more electronic, like email or social media or text. So I learned in my research that chain letters sent through the US Postal Service is illegal. It
Don't do
violates
it.
mail fraud and lottery laws. So if you are participating or promoting in one that involves sending money, it violates the law. So here it was like a classic chain letter format involving money. It would go something like this. If you send this a letter along with $5 to the names of the first 10 people on this list, your name will be added to the bottom. It will move up a notch every time the letter is remailed. When your name gets to the top,
I've heard of something.
you
like
will
that.
earn lots of money with one small investment. So really, if that actually worked and it was possible, you would send out, $5 and you'd get back like billions of dollars.
So one of the things about the ghost stories thing is that they're often written, when it's written by writers, written specifically towards people's either fears or towards people's ignorance of just being kind of dumb, like not knowing certain things. So things like, oh, I'll just move up, and that makes some logical sense in their brain, even if it's not looking at the bigger picture. Like writers will play to that to take advantage of the.
Well, it's like
non-
it's occurred. I can afford $5. I mean, every
It's a
time
mistake
that
everyone
like
can make.
Powerball gets to like a huge amount, like every
I did
few
that.
years, I could buy a Powerball ticket.
I did that. I did
It's
that.
$5. I'm like, eh. So here's the thing. It's mathematically impossible for all participants in a chain letter to get the money, because in that example where it's you have your name on a list of 10, more participants are required than there are people in the actual world. So if one mailing involves 10 participants, 2 would involve 100. By 7 mailings, we're at 10 million participants. And at 10 mailings, we're at 10 billion. So that's more than the whole population of the frickin' world. So your name is never going to come up. Sorry.
Do you know what though? What did we say in Derby? When we won second place, better than first place, because first place you're just worried about losing again, right?
Well,
Third place
I
or
think
third.
we
and you lose.
sometimes said that.
We said that one time we got second.
Yeah, the one
Of
time we
course
got
you're gonna say
second.
that.
But when
Right,
we
it says first.
Makes you feel
But
better.
when we won, like obviously that was the
No, it
better
was definitely
way.
better when you get first. And I didn't feel bad when I didn't get the next one, because I
Right.
justified it by having
Yeah.
the first time. So
Yeah.
You're not first, you're last.
you're second, it's okay for today.
Unless you're second. and then it's okay.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. If you're
And then
third,
they
nobody. I
have
mean, when
first
you're
anyway.
third, you're a loser. We all know it.
Just straight up.
I mean, what is even bronze?
I don't. I've never been third in my life. First or second, every time, all the time.
Imagine.
Every day.
One and done.
So these are paper letters I was talking about. So if it's an internet chain
I'm just a
letter,
winner.
the ninth resending would send 1 billion emails.
Nice.
1 billion. That's a lot.
All right.
All right. So
Yeah.
here's my ignorance on chain letters. I thought you better give yourself some.
I'm planned on it. That's why I'm doing this.
And I have a whole nother bottle
I'm
also.
going around.
So I kind of, for some reason, thought chain letters started with me, basically.
You
know,
made it, you created
In my
it.
egocentric world, I'm like, oh, they probably were an 80s thing or a 70s thing. No, that's not
Do
true.
they go back to the crustacean period?
Let's go way back. Those freaking crustaceans, those little shrimps out there on their little typewriters,
Little asshole.
trying to get like some coin.
Coin bit.
So the earliest,
Called shells at the time.
the earliest it was. Give me
I
some
know
shell.
it was good, but like
Call me some shell.
That really was currency at one point.
yeah, but
The earliest known
Back
chain
in
letters.
crustaceans.
Guess what year?
12. Pretty good guess.
Too old.
Oh, okay.
Too back.
15.
I didn't know this would be the mouth part.
No. 1888
Oh.
is
Like
the
18. Yeah,
is the earliest known chain letter, and it came from a Methodist academy for women missionaries in Chicago. So they were in a lot of debt. So they decided
as we are.
that summer they came up with this notion of a peripatetic, and I had to look this word up, it's a new word for me, peripatetic contribution box. So peripatetic contribution box means like a traveling contribution box.
The one that goes like up and down the aisles.
So that's what
Like in a
a
church?
typical one is. Yeah, they pass the basket or whatever. So
Oh, I see what you
they
said.
decided
Yeah.
this would be like more far spread.
I probably
I
did.
just had this like thought, has anyone ever like taken money out?
No.
I'm sure they have.
Someone's had to have done that.
They don't do that
What do you
in
mean?
Temple.
Of course people have done that.
Yeah.
Of course people have done that. I have never done that. I don't.
they don't do that at
Partake.
Temple. They don't.
Never.
There's
Unless
no
you're really
basket.
desperate or you really have no like.
Well, I'm sure there's yeah, I'm sure there's people that go in there for petty thievery at times, but that's like those communities are so like when I attended your son's bar mitzvah, I knew there was a difference. I was pausing. They instantly like everyone was like, oh, we have got like stand up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of security
Right,
at a
right.
synagogue because
Right.
everyone's
So
Jealous.
and they like so it was I think you'd be noticed pretty quickly if you weren't like
yeah. They even look
Trusted.
upon me with suspicion because I don't go
I mean,
to
that makes
synagogue
sense.
very often.
it's you.
They like give me a
You're
quiz. I
literally
have to
wearing
answer.
this outfit right now.
They say Baruch Hu Adonai Havarach, and if I don't say Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed, then I'm not allowed in.
Oh, it's either your code.
Yeah, that was the Jew joke. It's not actually true. If you know, you know. Yo, to my Jew homies out there. Okay, so
Like this.
what am I talking about? Peripatetic, a new word we all learned.
I liked it.
Peripatetic, it's like a traveling thing.
like
It's traveling.
money disease.
Well, you know that dollar bills are
Dollar.
covered with
Dollar,
fecal
dollar
mammals.
bills, y'all.
Dollar bills
Covered
being
with the
covered in
fecal-
fecal
fecals.
matters
Money?
and drugs.
Grosses me out, yeah.
Money is dirty,
Gross.
dirty money.
Like,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
change, you just can feel the film on it. Feel.
But to me, at least change, like friction happens with change. It's to me
paper?
paper. It's like that's like if someone's dirty couch.
I feel that, yeah. I get
Yeah,
that
that
vibe too.
So this is what they
I
did.
still want it, but it's like.
I'll
Dirty.
take it. Yeah, no, I'll definitely.
Let's
take
go
it.
back to these Methodist women missionaries in
These
Chicago.
Methodists.
Started in Chicago, women's in Chicago. they sent out this letter that said that each one receiving the letter would send us a dime and make 3 copies of the letter, asking 3 friends to do the same thing. So the chain letter was born, and it worked. Like, they got money. Like, it actually worked.
I mean, and I get that they brought in the convenience factor into donating.
And they would tape a dime to the letter and mail it back.
See, I'm such a visual person. I need like a diagram of how
As
this.
a picture, as
Like a
a
pyramid.
Oh,
No, I'm just
triangle.
like,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
There's
like,
whiteboard right there. Draw-
So
I'm not gonna try to-
you send a letter
Yeah.
to 3 friends,
Uh-huh.
and then each of them sends a letter to 3 friends. So already we're like a lot of friends.
There seriously is a whiteboard. This
But
wasn't
then
the
they
It
same.
was
send
the
it back
old
to-
shampoo commercial that went off the same thing. It's like, and they tell 2 friends, and they
This
two
is-
friends,
I mean, it's a
and so on,
pyramid
and
scheme.
so on, and so on.
Same as when you're like trying to sell Mary Kay,
Ah.
that kind of stuff.
Totes.
Yeah.
Totes, my goats. So it actually worked.
Until it did.
And then this like got out like instantly in Britain. They're like, ooh, let's do this. So at the time, Jack the Ripper was on the loose, former topic of yours. And so the Bishop of Bedford was trying to fund a home for what was called destitute women in Whitechapel.
You know, I can't wait for the day I'm called destitute. We've talked about horrible things that they call women in like description.
So this was where what was called prostitutes, and they could go stay there because this bishop was trying to protect the women from being murdered because
that's
Jack the
good.
Ripper was on the loose. So he tried to raise money, and he raised an outcry for charitable relief, and it worked. Like, they got lots of money to fund this home for destitute women in Whitechapel.
Which means without basic necessities of life.
Destitute.
Yeah, this heater is gonna melt my face off.
Um,
It is so hot.
yeah, shut the.
Leave it shut.
You can crack the door.
Actually, I don't think it was shut all the way.
Here's the thing: in the olden days,
Of crustaceans.
in the crustacean period, a furnace. You had one furnace, even though this house is really big. Like, one furnace
Would heat the whole
could
thing.
heat the whole
So
house.
it had to be
Our
powerful.
thermostat is only on 67 right now, so you can crack
It is
that.
not 67.
No, I know, because we're trapping the heat that's supposed to travel.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. We're in an oven, is what you're telling me.
My ex-husband actually fucking chewed my ass this morning.
Gross. I don't need to know that.
I did not leave this door open to circulate the heat.
Oh, yeah, I could see that being like you come in this one room and a sauna. Rest of the house is freezing.
I mean to text him back. I haven't. I would need to say, stop sending me texts that end in exclamation points.
No one should
I'm
or
over it.
all caps it. Don't all caps anything. Don't swear in a text message. And like there's just you don't.
The beauteous thing about having an ex-husband is you don't actually have to answer the text, so I
Oh, that's
haven't.
nice. It's convenient.
Yeah, I've gotten 2 texts that ended in exclamation points, and I've not answered either of them. The other was, I'm gonna throw your fucking vacuum in the garbage. That's what he said this morning. I'm like,
Why? Did you-
okay. Because apparently there was some vacuuming going on too early.
What time did you vacuum?
It wasn't me. I
Oh.
have a yoga teacher that was just doing a class in vacuum, so.
I mean, what? It would be after 8 at least.
Well, that was a little before 8. That was
That's
the
too
text.
early.
I would have
the F
messaged
out.
that too.
That was the text.
I mean, how vigorous was her vacuuming? Vigorous
is-
vacuuming.
This was at 7:46 a.m. He said,
Last time I said vigorous.
I'm gonna throw that vacuum away! Exclamation point. After 8, for good sakes, at least. And I didn't answer.
I mean, that's literally what I just said.
Yeah.
So,
8 is the cutoff for vacuum.
yeah.
But this is coming on the heels of last night. I got, for shit's sakes, open the doors up when you leave!
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Exclamation
okay,
point. I'm like, I can't do anything right!
basement dweller though, it's cold in the basement. I just moved my master bedroom downstairs and it is cold. So you do have to like close the vents upstairs, get it traveling down.
No, but it was just like, God.
As we're up here, like, God, it's so
Do you
hot.
have to like end every text with an exclamation point? Can we like fill it in the middle with some warm
Smiley
faces?
face.
Yeah, like in the middle,
Okay.
like thanks for being you. You know,
Thanks
you
for
mix
being
it
you.
up, and
I
then
mean-
shout at me again.
Well, I just heard
I'm
it turn
gonna
off.
text
Isn't the
with
phrase
someone saying
downstairs?
thanks for being you.
Thanks for being you.
I'm gonna
I'll
text you that. I'm gonna
later.
text you that later.
I don't need
You
it. Thanks.
too. I'm
I
going
don't
to
want it.
anyway.
I don't
I'm
want
gonna.
No, I would love it.
I'm sending it to me
I don't want it.
anyway.
Okay, so
Before
chain
8.
letters are on the rise. They actually worked. Like, here's the thing, they actually were a working thing. So they were used by all kinds of things, and then they started to bring guilt
Was it
into
not
it.
like staying closed? And then I'm gonna get hit by the door.
Why is that opening by itself?
I think it's just a crooked jam.
I know, but it was on me. I closed it and it's been closed for a bit now.
It just opened.
No, but you have to click it.
No, but I'm saying it didn't.
Click it or ticket.
You're not getting it. I had it here and it stayed, and it's been staying this whole
And then
time,
it
and
just
then all of a
randomly-
sudden it just did
Well,
that.
it's gonna do
But it
that.
didn't do it.
It was closed for a while.
It was
before it
closed.
opened.
That's
Yeah.
not enough proof for me.
I don't care.
This fella jumping out of the closet. Oh, sorry, you were supposed to pay $1 for that.
Oh,
Damn it.
It's $1 worth.
We're
of
so
knowledge.
bad at it.
looking exactly like you.
I don't know. We're twinsies. Demon twinsies.
Got
Okay,
here
so
first.
this was working. They started to bring guilt in it. They started a fundraiser for the Spanish American War soldiers, and they said, do not break the chain, which will result in dishonoring the memory of the men who sacrificed their
See?
lives.
That's
So
yeah.
it starts to like pull on like your guilt. So there was like,
It's like when you're at the grocery store and they're like,
I will go in the side
Or-
door if there are Girl Scouts in
Yeah.
front or Boy Scouts. I will not.
or no, even on like the when you're like paying and it'll say, do you wanna, or
No,
if you're at the
Not
Petco,
today.
do you wanna save an animal? And then you actually have to say no. Like
I know.
it makes you feel like, yes, I wanna save the animals.
I care.
No, I can't.
I know, it should be
Spend
like,
extra
do
money
you not
on
care
animals.
at all about animals?
I always
Are you
say,
a
I
healthy
always
person?
say,
Yes or no?
Not today.
Animals
Thank
die.
you. I donate in other ways, and this ain't it today.
I want to say I have 3 cats. I'm doing my
Yeah.
part.
I have way more than that.
I know, Macy's home for destitute animals.
There's 3 kittens right now that are adorable, but 2 of them have homes soon, so that's good. I have to catch them tonight to give them more love.
So these chain letters were just like going crazy. So it's good luck, bad luck, but then these get rich ones. There was actually a self-help mutual advance society of London that used the get rich quick pyramid scheme payment structure. And so now they're still being told to send dimes, but it's just like there's more pressure being added. It's becoming more serious.
Yeah, I don't like
But
it when people guilt.
induced.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
So
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
1899,
you really don't wanna-
Wrong target.
Yeah.
Wrong target.
so 11 years, according to my math, after the Methodist
Which could be
incarnation,
12, 13, or 8.
It
Not
could.
sure.
the US Postal Service, it was like enough already, and they declared quote unquote dime letter chains a violation of lottery laws and crackdown. So they're still
It's
legal
interesting to
under
me
that
that,
same
like-
law.
Well, what's really interesting to me is that all like church donation stuff is tax exempt. So it's like under one category of government, it's exempt and viewed as okay to do those things, but don't use our postal service for it.
No, they want no part of it. But chain letters, of course, have not gone
Postal
away.
workers are like, yeah, but we're the least paid out of all of the government workers, so don't use us.
So nowadays they're electronic. Though I swear I must have gotten one in the actual mail when I was little, because I
Verify.
feel like I remember
I
that.
think I could search for my mail and probably find them. I don't know. If I go to my spam.
That'd be great if
Keep
you
going.
could.
I'm gonna look.
So an example of like a modern one through electronic.
Well, even on social media,
Email.
they'll send them out.
Yeah.
Send these to your friends. And it's not even like money or anything, but just send this message out.
Right. So one is, my name is Teddy. I am 7 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And he said,
It's terrifying. That's a ghost story.
No.
if you don't send
It's
this,
an early ghost story. It's before he died when no one donated. That's
if
the
you
ghost.
don't send this to at least 12 people, I will come to your house at midnight and I'll hide under your bed. When you're asleep, I'll kill you.
What the
No.
front
It said
door?
that?
Yeah, this is an email that went out to people.
She knows I was
And then he
gonna
gives,
say ghost story.
he gives like testimonials.
Every-
That got really dark.
He gives testimonials of what will happen to
Look
if
at
we
this.
don't listen.
This is a place that I actually go to that has sent this to me, and it just says it's for a good cause. Is literally the title in the email.
Yeah,
And then it sends like special deeds for special needs.
does
where-
it say need to forward it to a bunch of
scan
people?
here to donate. It's an email like come and donate for us,
So here's case one.
but probably not a pyramid level thing.
Patty Buckles.
But you get $10 off. That's the way.
Patty Buckles. Let's all
Please share about
let's
Patty
all feel
Buckles.
up for Patty Buckles.
Mayonnaise.
Patty Buckles. That's not a real name.
Patty
It's a
Buckles.
Do you remember Patty Mayonnaise?
No.
No.
Oh yes, I do from the TV show.
Who's Patty Mayonnaise?
Doug?
Yeah.
That was a cartoon.
Doug.
Oh.
What?
Do you want to hear about Patty Buckles?
I mean,
Fine.
sure.
So
It's not
this
Patty mayonnaise.
this is one of the testimonials included in the email. It said Patty Buckles got this chain mail. She didn't believe in chain letters. Well, foolish
I don't know how to
Patty.
spell mayonnaise. I learned that just now.
She was sleeping when her TV started flickering on and off. Now she's not with us anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Case 2, George M. Simon hated chain emails, but he didn't want to die that night.
No
He
one
still-
does. Not that
Who's
night.
sending these out?
He sent it to
Mistake
4
of-
people. Not good enough, George,
No.
because it's requesting 12.
Go big or go home.
Now George is in a
Go
coma.
dead.
We don't know if he'll ever wake up.
That's Patty Mayonnaise.
I can't see. I see a blob. So 0 people.
Patricia mayonnaise.
So if you send this to 0 people, you will die tonight! Exclamation point.
Rough.
Very aggressive.
But this is like a range. So
I
1 to
like that
6
there's a
people.
scale. It's like
No,
a-
it's a Likert scale. Yeah.
right.
1 to 6 people, you will be injured.
Hmm.
7 to 11 people, you will get the biggest fright of your life. 12 and over, you are safe and will have good fortune.
Hmm.
So there was also one that went out back in the day. You got hit by the sexy truck.
What?
So it was back in like
I'm sorry, I was reading for a moment about Patricia mayonnaise.
But,
Me.
Like, what is the sender, the original sender gaining from this?
what do you mean?
Money.
You
No,
have
not always money with
Yeah, that's what I'm
these.
saying. These aren't even like money. It's just they're like you
God.
like
Internet,
forward
the
this.
access to your computer. I don't know.
Oh, like you're saying virus stuff or like hacking. Maybe.
No, it could clog things. Clog the.
Or advertising, sending people to a site that has ads on it that they get paid for.
Mhm,
Okay, I'm back.
Back in the day of ads, which still
Mhm,
exist.
mhm.
They're just
That makes
well
sense.
made that we don't think about them as products.
So
now.
the sexy truck was actually a truck.
It's a sexy
And for
truck.
the sexy truck.
It was actually a truck.
I'm upset. I don't know why.
Wait, this is a real
Well, it was like
I can't even the sexy truck. That's the name of this podcast.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for you to
I
see.
googled that and the sexy taco popped up. It's a truck.
So remember when like the first like computer cool people came out where they could make a bunch of pictures with computer language?
I mean, I was.
So the sexy truck was made out of computer.
We don't see
language.
that close.
This is what my child says. Look.
Can you see it? Can you see the sexy?
Look at it.
I see it. Super sexy.
You got hit by the sexy truck.
No, but you see the sexy
No,
truck.
because you didn't zoom.
I can't.
What?
Stop. Stop doing that. It
What?
won't work.
Why did you show me that thing
No,
I can't see?
Look at this.
No, I
That's
can't see it.
a
You
little-
can't see it.
That reminds me.
I can't see it.
Wait, Have you seen like the mover, the trucks that have like
Give it to me here.
sexy
I'll put it-
movers?
I
or,
don't
like,
want you to put it that close.
You
to
can't
my face.
zoom it.
No,
You
have
can't put
seen-
anything that close to my face.
It's like hunks will
You
move
gotta
your
put it
junk.
right into your eye. It's not gonna zoom.
Why? Not.
Just-
Where'd it go?
Okay, that's
Okay.
I told
that is my Okay.
I
That
told you.
was unexpected.
That's what happened last
That
time.
happened
It
last
just
time,
wasn't as long.
And I
as-
got
Okay, the
goosebumps.
door just opened,
I got
totally on
goosebumps
its own and
instantly
unexpected.
again. See goosebumps? Right there.
Okay, you just look at
We're
the
just
sexy
gonna
track.
It's
Can you look
because we were laughing so much, and then they were like, "Oh, what's going on in there? It sounds like you guys are having fun."
I mean, you no longer
Can you please just look at the sexy track?
Okay,
I ruined it. Oh, wait, there it is.
Linda.
Linda?
Oh my god, are you Linda right
Why
now?
are you calling me Linda?
You haven't heard of that?
No.
Oh my gosh, you
It's
gotta
gonna be like a Karen.
no, you
It's
gotta look
definitely
up
Linda.
Listen, Linda. It's a super cute video.
I found it and I found out how to make it bigger.
Okay,
It's this little
You've
kid.
been hit by
and
the
he's calling
sexy
his mom
drug.
Linda.
Once you've been hit, you have to hit 8 other people or you get hit again. You'll know you're really sexy if you break the chain. You'll be cursed with unsexiness.
which
or
nobody
you're-
wants. Nobody wants that.
Nope.
No.
So pass it. Or hit whatever you think is sexy.
Snoop.
Well, Snoop, my home
Yes.
boy.
You put
It's Naz.
you schnizznet.
Okay, so
There you go.
Wait, can I
The-
say one thing?
have you ever been hit by the sexy dragon? Like this?
Never.
The talking stick.
Never
Wait,
in
why
my
does it
life.
not have a hand either?
When did that happen? Hold on, I'm looking at the picture. That's not, I'm not okay with that.
It's a dots.
When did I notice that? Why didn't we notice that?
No.
Stop it, don't hurt it.
Okay.
I have the first picture.
Have I made a deal with the devil?
Oh my god, he had no hands the
You
whole
haven't
time.
seen.
He had no hand.
Wow.
Okay, I'm glad that
Do you have a hand?
I
Do you have two?
I have
For how
to
long?
at the moment. So also back in the day, this is
If
online with
something
the sexy
All I'm
person.
gonna say is I told you so. I'm not gonna be like, are you okay?
Okay, well this might
Fair.
calm us all down.
Will it?
There used to also be like a virtual puff puff pass. You could get sent this.
You get high.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if
yeah.
you didn't send it, it would say, you've been passed the virtual blunt. Tag someone to keep the rotation going. So if you didn't do it, like you weren't cool.
Oh, it's way too sweet. Ugh.
compared to the other one.
Yeah, no, this one I like this one, the vortex a lot.
Well,
This
this
one of my
one's-
favorites.
This one's a lot more expensive. This is like $3 more expensive.
I had a really good inexpensive wine recently. What was it?
All right. So now there's a Twitter's modern version of the chain letter, and it says, retweet in 5 seconds or your mom will die.
How many people
Question.
retweeted that? And
I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know if it's a cesspool.
It's all sus.
Can we go back to the sexy truck really quick?
Yes.
I
Let's
will-
go back to.
How many times did you
Can we
get the
reverse
sexy
it?
truck?
Do you ever go like this to semis
Did
and
you
then they
got the
go?
line on the last
Yeah, she.
No,
It's
that's
a wild
perfect.
card.
Okay.
character?
Have you guys seen the movers around town that are like,
Really?
move
Really?
her,
I've seen
Or- honks, move your junk?
Oh, I have the hunks move your junk.
that. I don't know about the word junk.
They're like, it's like a
definitely
move
There's
thing,
adaptations.
The penile
Right.
kind.
which
Correct.
makes me not want to hire
Anxious.
these people. Yeah, I'm
Alright,
like,
I mean,
I don't want.
I heard move hers is cool. I've not
Move
heard of
her?
hunks move your junk.
I have on the
Yeah.
radio.
It just
I'd rather have a move her than a hunk.
I mean, I probably would rather have hunks
With
than
junk.
junk, but
They can leave their
Yeah,
junk at home.
I don't know. It's just my favorite sexy truck.
you did it again.
I think
Stop.
she's like walking.
Sorry. I'm sorry,
She's like,
everybody.
you know what I
I'm
love right
sorry.
now is you're dressed up as Wednesday and I look as pale as you. It's really bad.
I don't have like any makeup on. This
Oh
is
yeah,
just
that's good.
me.
It is the black
This
contrast.
is as white as I am normally.
Yeah,
That's why I decided to be here, because I'm like,
perfect.
I just
Easy.
already have career coloring.
All right, I'm just
I was a cell phone for Halloween. It wasn't Halloween, but pre-Halloween. Sorry, touched your leg. Well,
all right.
Bring that.
Last episode.
last episode we talked about. You went first.
Oh, sextortion.
Sextortion.
On the rise. Everybody should be aware. It's super scary.
I don't know. That was a week ago.
You talked about body shaming.
Correct.
Hmm.
You want to speak about the Patreon? Get people to give us money.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Sign up.
Or what do you
For the
say? You what?
sexy-
Let's just send them chain letters.
Let's send the sexy
If you don't
truck.
want a chain letter, sign up on Patreon. for
You don't
$1.
want us to hit you with the sexy truck. You
Is that
better
right?
give us $1.
Right.
Yeah, give us $1. Give us $1.
It's worth it.
Remember the time
For our
when we wrote
wine.
handwritten letters and sent stickers and swag?
We did.
Right, that was the sexy truck. You
Please
should get
give us
excited.
a 5-star review wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
I mean,
Obviously,
because it's
if
nice.
you're listening right now,
And you can
you
hear
either love us or you love to hate us. So
And that's
either
fine,
way,
too.
same
Even if you hate
seas.
us, you got to the end. That's
Samesies.
pretty impressive. Even if you skip forward, whatever.
Until next time. Send this podcast to 10 friends or else.
Tell a good ghost story.
Okay.
Find some
Okay.
people to tell a ghost story to.
Find a fire.
Yeah. Light a fire, tell a ghost story.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got,
And
Mace?
then, just know that you could be next.
Watch out for demon portals.